Every minute of your day should have a purpose. If you do not control your schedule, the world will control it for you. Plan your day the night before. Set clear priorities. Allocate specific time blocks for deep work, learning, and self-improvement. The most successful people in the world do not just find time for their goals, they make time. They structure their day with discipline and refuse to let distractions dictate their actions. When you remove distractions, you create space for value. You create space for learning, growth, and mastery. Instead of scrolling through social media, read books that expand your mind. Instead of binge watching TV shows, develop a skill that increases your income. Instead of engaging in pointless conversations, surround yourself with people who challenge you to think bigger. The key to transformation is not just about cutting things out. It is about replacing them with something better. Adding value to your life means becoming a person who is constantly growing. Most people stop learning the moment they finish school. They assume that education ends with a diploma, but real education begins when you decide to take control of your own development. Every day is an opportunity to get better. Read, listen to podcasts, attend seminars, and invest in courses that expand your knowledge. The more you learn, the more valuable you become. The more valuable you become, the more success you attract. Adding value is not just about what you consume, it is also about what you create. Most people spend their lives as consumers, taking in information, entertainment, and products created by others. But the most successful people shift from being consumers to creators. They build businesses, write books, create content, and develop solutions that impact the world. If you want to be successful, you must shift your focus from consuming what others have built to building something of your own. The easiest way to measure whether something is a distraction or a source of value is to ask yourself, does this move me closer to my goals or does it keep me stagnant? If an activity does not bring you closer to success, it is holding you back. If a relationship does not push you to grow, it is weighing you down. If a habit does not improve your future, it is stealing from you. The moment you start measuring your time and energy this way, your life will begin to change. Discipline is the key to eliminating distractions and adding value. It is easy to fall back into old habits, to waste time on meaningless activities, and to get comfortable with mediocrity. But discipline forces you to stay focused. It forces you to say no to the things that do not serve you and yes to the things that will elevate you. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you take one step closer to success. Every time you replace mindless entertainment with valuable learning, you separate yourself from the masses. Your attention is your most valuable asset. Where you direct it determines the results you get in life. If you focus on distractions, you will live an average life. But if you focus on growth, execution, and adding value, you will achieve more in a few months than most people do in a lifetime. Most people live far below their potential, not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but because they do not demand more from themselves. They settle for good enough. They accept average effort, and they become comfortable with mediocrity. But the truth is, if you want to change your life, if you want to reach levels of success that most people only dream about, you must raise your standards. You must decide that the way you have been operating is not enough. You must expect more, push harder, and refuse to accept anything less than the absolute best from yourself. Too many people make excuses for why they are not where they want to be. They blame their circumstances, their past, or the people around them. But the real reason they are stuck is that they have not raised their expectations for themselves. They tolerate laziness, inconsistency, and procrastination. They let themselves off the hook when things get difficult. But winners do not operate this way. The people who achieve greatness do not rely on motivation or inspiration. They hold themselves to a higher standard every single day, whether they feel like it or not. Your life will always rise to the level of the standards you set for yourself. If you tolerate excuses, you will make excuses. If you tolerate average effort, you will get average results. But if you demand excellence from yourself in everything you do, your work, your habits, your mindset, your entire life will transform. The reason so few people ever reach their true potential is that they set the bar too low. They accept being good when they have the capacity to be great. They settle for making a living when they could be building an empire. Demanding more from yourself starts with eliminating the habit of quitting. Most people give up the moment things get uncomfortable. The moment they face resistance, they back down. But the most successful people in the world operate differently. They push through when they don't feel like it. They work when others are resting. They keep moving forward even when progress feels slow, because they understand that quitting is the fastest way to stay average. If you refuse to quit, if you commit to showing up every single day with relentless effort, there is no limit to what you can achieve. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. If you allow yourself to be lazy in one area of your life, that mindset will bleed into everything else. If you make excuses in small things, you will make excuses in big things. But when you demand excellence in everything you do, whether it's your work, your health, your relationships, or your personal development, you develop a habit of winning. You become the type of person who does not accept anything less than the best from themselves, and that mindset alone will separate you from the masses. Most people wait for someone else to push them. They wait for a coach, a mentor, a boss, or a deadline to force them into action. But true success comes when you develop the ability to push yourself. When you demand more from yourself, you do not need someone else to hold you accountable. You set your own goals, you enforce your own standards, and you refuse to let yourself operate at anything less than peak performance. That is what separates leaders from followers. Followers need to be told what to do. Leaders hold themselves to a higher standard and execute without being asked. The world does not reward potential. It rewards results. It does not matter how smart you are, how talented you are, or how many great ideas you have. If you are not demanding more from yourself, if you are not executing at the highest level, none of that matters. There are millions of people with potential who will never achieve success because they refuse to push themselves beyond their comfort zone. But if you are willing to demand more from yourself, to work harder, think bigger, and execute faster, you will create opportunities that most people will never experience. Raising your standards means refusing to accept your own excuses. It means holding yourself accountable at a level that most people never will. It means waking up earlier, working longer, and doing what others won't so you can have what others can't. It means giving 100% every single day, not just when you feel like it. And it means constantly challenging yourself to get better, to grow, and to operate at the highest level possible. When you demand more from yourself, you stop settling for average and start expecting greatness. One of the biggest obstacles to demanding more from yourself is the fear of failure. Most people avoid pushing themselves because they are afraid they won't succeed. They are afraid of what others will think. They are afraid of stepping outside their comfort zone. But failure is not the enemy. Comfort is. Growth only happens when you challenge yourself. Progress only comes when you push past what feels easy. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who never stop pushing forward, no matter how many times they fail. The truth is, most people have no idea what they are truly capable of. They limit themselves before they even try. They assume they are only capable of a certain level of success, a certain income, or a certain lifestyle. But the only real limits in life are the ones you impose on yourself. When you demand more from yourself, you begin to break through those limits. You begin to realize that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. And the moment you stop settling, your entire life will begin to change. Demanding more from yourself is not about working harder just for the sake of it. It is about unlocking your true potential. It is about becoming the person you were meant to be. It is about refusing to live an average life when you have the power to create an extraordinary one. The people who achieve massive success are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are simply the ones who demand the most from themselves every single day. They refuse to settle, they refuse to make excuses, and they refuse to accept anything less than their absolute best. You must become your own greatest motivator. You must look in the mirror every single day and ask yourself, am I really giving my all? Am I really operating at the highest level possible? And if the answer is no, you must demand more effort, more discipline, more commitment. Because the life you want is not going to be handed to you, it must be earned. And the only way to earn it is by demanding more from yourself than anyone else ever will. Most people spend their lives planning, thinking, and talking about what they want to achieve, but few ever take the kind of action necessary to turn those ideas into reality. They hesitate, they procrastinate, and they allow fear to paralyze them. But success does not come to those who wait. It comes to those who execute relentlessly. If you want to change your life, you must become a person of action. You must stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop seeking permission and stop overanalyzing every decision. The only way to get results is to move forward with absolute determination, no matter what obstacles stand in your way. The reason so many people remain stuck is that they are addicted to preparation instead of execution. They convince themselves they need more research, more time, or more resources before they can start. They spend months or even years getting ready, yet they never take the first real step. But preparation without execution is useless. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who know the most, they are the ones who do the most. They understand that progress is made through action, not just through learning. Every second spent hesitating is a second lost forever. Relentless execution means making things happen even when you do not feel like it. Most people only take action when they are motivated, but motivation is fleeting. Some days you will feel inspired and some days you will not. But those who achieve greatness do not let their emotions dictate their actions. They take massive action whether they feel like it or not. They wake up early, they work late, they push through discomfort, and they refuse to accept excuses from themselves. The difference between success and failure is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It is the willingness to execute no matter what. Hesitation is the enemy of execution. Every time you second guess yourself, every time you delay taking action, you lose momentum. And without momentum, you remain stuck in the same place, watching opportunities pass you by. Successful people understand that speed matters. When they see an opportunity, they move immediately. When they set a goal, they start working on it that same day. They do not wait for all the pieces to be in place. They take action first and figure out the details along the way. The faster you execute, the faster you get results. Most people are trapped in a cycle of inconsistency. They start something with excitement, but as soon as the initial motivation fades, they slow down or stop altogether. They make progress for a few days or weeks, then fall back into old habits. But real success comes from relentless execution, taking action every single day, no matter what. Winners do not stop when they are tired. They do not slow down when things get hard. They execute with the same intensity on day 100 as they did on day 1. This level of consistency is what separates the great from the average. Relentless execution requires an obsession with results. Most people focus on effort. They tell themselves they are working hard, but they do not measure whether their actions are actually producing results. But effort without results is wasted energy. The most successful people constantly evaluate what is working and what is not. They are not afraid to pivot, adjust, and refine their approach. They do not waste time on things that do not move them forward. They focus on high-impact activities that create real progress, and they execute them with absolute intensity. There is a simple truth that most people refuse to accept. No one is coming to save them. No one is going to hand them success. No one is going to force them to execute. If they want to achieve their goals, they must take full responsibility for making it happen. Relentless execution means refusing to wait for help, for validation, or for the right time. It means making the decision to take massive action regardless of external circumstances. Those who understand this truth rise to the top. Those who do not spend their lives waiting and wondering why success never comes. Distractions are the biggest enemy of relentless execution. The world is filled with things designed to steal your focus: social media, entertainment, meaningless conversations, and endless streams of information. Most people allow these distractions to control their time, and as a result, they never execute at the level necessary to succeed. If you are serious about executing relentlessly, you must eliminate anything that slows you down. You must create an environment where action is the only option, where every minute is spent moving forward, building, creating, and producing results. The most powerful thing about relentless execution is that it compounds over time. Each action builds on the last. Each day of disciplined execution brings you closer to your goals. Most people underestimate the power of consistent action. They think success is about one big move, one lucky break, or one major opportunity. But in reality, success is the result of thousands of small, consistent actions executed relentlessly over time. The people who achieve extraordinary results are simply those who refuse to stop executing day after day, year after year. One of the greatest advantages of executing relentlessly is that it builds unshakable confidence. Most people doubt themselves because they do not take enough action to prove to themselves what they are capable of. But when you execute relentlessly, doubt disappears. When you push yourself beyond what you thought was possible, when you work harder than you ever have before, you start to realize that you are capable of anything. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you earn through relentless execution. Most people fear failure, but those who execute relentlessly see failure differently. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of success. Every time they take action, they either win or they learn. They do not waste time dwelling on mistakes or setbacks. Instead, they use every failure as feedback and immediately take more action. This mindset keeps them moving forward while others get stuck in fear and self-doubt. Relentless execution means you keep going no matter what, because you know that every failure brings you one step closer to your goal. The world belongs to those who take action. It does not belong to those who wait, those who hesitate, or those who make excuses. It belongs to those who move fast, execute with intensity, and refuse to stop until they have reached their goals. Most people never reach their full potential because they never develop the habit of relentless execution. But those who do, those who take massive action every single day, without excuses, without hesitation, without waiting, are the ones who rise to the top and create a life that others can only dream about. At the end of this week, you will either be in the same place telling the same tired story, or you will be unrecognizable, standing in a new reality you built with your own hands. The choice is yours. Your future is waiting. Now go get it.